You want to talk Knicks?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's so it's such an eye of the beholder type situation, right? Because I think if you asked any Knicks fan 6 months ago, 3 months ago, a month ago, like
100%.
you told them like
yep.
you're going to make the conference finals, you're going to beat the Celtics in round 2 and make the conference finals and come within a couple of games of the NBA finals, it would be like, well, this is beautiful. This is exactly what you would want, because you know what? There's a runway opening up. With the Karl-Anthony Towns trade and then Jalen Brunson's extension, you've got all the OG Anunoby deal. You've got all these guys for multiple years. Josh Hart's extended. You've got the core group here, and you've already shown you can make this run. But the way it unfolded against the Indiana Pacers, where it's like existential questions. How do you defend with both Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson on the floor together at these against elite opponents? Is Mikal Bridges good enough to where you got to make the decision? Like you forked over all these draft picks for him, but is he a good enough complementary player? Like there's so many big questions that I think it's going to be a fascinating offseason for them.
Yeah, I don't see them moving OG. I think he means too much to them.
Yeah.
I don't see, obviously they're not moving Jalen. I mean, what are you going to get for Josh Hart? What are you going to get for Mikal? Like, where do they go? Like, how do they? So, you mentioned Matt Wong earlier. He was like, "Do they go after Giannis?" And I'm like, "Your Knicks fandom is showing." You know, Matt. I was like, our editor, our brilliant, lovely editor.
Yes, shouts out.
I love that guy. But like the idea that they could get Giannis, I'm like, well, how? Like.
Yeah.
How they don't have any picks. They traded 5 picks for Mikal Bridges. They have like 2 pick swaps and a Wizards pick that like won't convey pretty much. So you're going to offer like 2 pick swaps, first round pick swaps in 28 or 26 and 30. And that's going to trump an offer for I just don't see it. Like,
yeah.
And Mikal Bridges' contract, yeah, it's only a year more, and he's a good value contract, but like it's Giannis. Like, where are you going to go? So I just don't see how the Knicks are going to take a big swing here with a team like looking to offload a disgruntled superstar like Giannis. And the Milwaukee Bucks aren't going to take Cat. You know, like I guess it would be a 3-team deal, but like it's hard to put a Knicks name, like a player that they could acquire that isn't better than the status quo of keeping everything together and just going forward with this squad and rolling the dice one more time.
Also, I think there's a couple of really interesting valuation questions therein, because Karl-Anthony Towns is an All-NBA big man who just averaged like 24 and 11 and also has now played in the conference finals 2 years in a row and come up with like monster performances on huge stages. So like the part where we are shaky on what he is, it feels like it should be over, and yet it is not.
Well,
and I think
defense just needs to get better. It just needs, and you got Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby and Josh Hart, and those are 3 great perimeter defenders, but at the end of the day.
So now this gets to my second valuation question, is because where's the value on Mikal Bridges right now? Mikal Bridges, they trade again, he will wear the price tag like a millstone around his neck. 5 draft picks is just not going anywhere, right? And so with that expectation, you have to look at what has been, I think it's pretty fair to say, an up and down first year in Manhattan, where it was like the shot was janky at the beginning, then it came back around. The mid-ranger's been good, but he really never looks at the rim and he never gets to the free throw line. Then Brunson goes out and all of a sudden Mikal Bridges is averaging 20 because he's on the ball more, but Tom Thibodeau doesn't necessarily figure out how to maximize him as an on-ball creator. You get into the playoffs and the shot is really like fallen off, but there's like superhero defensive plays at the end of games against Boston. Like he is a huge part of getting them past that place that I think people didn't anticipate them getting to. You get into the Indiana series and the expectation heading in is, well, he's going to be the heads up matchup on Tyrese Halliburton, and Tyrese Halliburton's probably also going to have to guard him. So this needs to be a really big Mikal Bridges series. And it wasn't. And it wasn't necessarily like a loudly bad one. It was just kind of quietly underwhelming. And so then you come to an offseason where you're like, if you're the league writ large, what do you do with all that? And if you're the Knicks in specific, do you the expectation is you extend him. You traded for him to extend him to
You're pot committed, right?
You're pot committed.
Yeah.
But if the deal, I think the max you can go on the extension is 4 years, 156 million. I like, do you, where is Leon Rose on that? Yeah. Like, I think it's and then like the big zoom out is 50 plus wins in 2 consecutive years for the first time in ages, multiple series wins in consecutive years for the first time in ages, first Eastern Conference Finals since 2000 or 1999. But Knicks fans en masse are like, move on from Tom Thibodeau, find me somebody new. Like, it's so interesting to think about how frequently the Knicks have been bad and the specific ways in which they have frequently been bad, and now where they are. But it's like you're close, but you're not. You can't. Can you get to the? So I don't know. I don't know how patient everybody is. I don't know if we're talking about a longest view in the room type of thing with Leon Rose. I don't know if they look at the Indiana team that just beat them and says our best path, like you were saying, is continuity. Everybody needs to learn how to do this together. It might be our best option, but how does that get received in a pretty dicey media market? It's going to be an interesting summer. There never isn't one, it seems like, in New York, but this one feels like it's going to be particularly interesting.
I think they run it back, and I think they essentially say everyone's got to be better. Everyone's got to be better. And that goes for everyone from Jalen Brunson to Deuce McBride to Mitch Robinson. Like, everybody's got to be better. I just think they don't have the assets to pull off that huge deal. Because, again, like Mikal Bridges at $24.9 million next year, expiring deal, that could be appetizing to a team if he didn't have a meh season. Like, if he had an incredible season, A, the Knicks aren't moving him, and B, you're going to have to pay up to get him. And so does another team look at Mikal Bridges as like a cornerstone like Brooklyn did? I don't see it. But I think the Knicks will run it back. I think that's where I'm at. And they're all in on this group. And I think it's very hard for them to make another swing here with their assets. So, Dan, I think you're right. I think they take a page out of the Indiana Pacers book and run it back with their squad. I know that might not make everyone in talk, sports talk and First Take. I'm thinking about one person in particular who probably will want big changes in New York after what we saw. I think the most boring answer is I think status quo.
Somehow I think they'll still find a way to talk, though. I think there'll still find a way to make a conversation out of that. I think it'll be all right.
All right, Dan. We're here. NBA Finals. It feels good. Feels good to get here. That's it for us today. Thank you for watching the show, listening to the show, wherever you do that. We've got a great team behind us. Thank you to Stone, Mike, and the entire squad that works hard behind the scenes on this pod. Please watch and subscribe, Big Number, on YouTube. Also, hit that subscribe button, smash it on the podcast, whatever platform you listen to. Leave us a rating and a review. We'll be back next week with another episode of The Big Number. Until then, find your 1%, okay?
Enjoy the finals, everybody. Good God.
Yeah, enjoy the finals, and we'll be back next week.